Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Rifle Chair channel. This is the 2018 Cabin Fever Challenge, and it's been going for quite a while now, a number of years. I think 2013 or 2014 was the first year that I put the competition on, and slowly it's been growing for the number of people that are actually entering and competing. And the purpose of the Cabin Fever Challenge is basically just to get your ass out of the house, out into a snowbank, and fire 20 rounds in positional shooting. So really, we're not shooting any of these rounds off of a rest or in any kind of supported position whatsoever. We take 5 rounds in the standing, then reload, 5 rounds in the kneeling, reload, 5 rounds prone, reload, 5 rounds sitting, and then you're done, 20 rounds. And you're shooting at an 8-inch target. Now I've got these, I picked these up at Crappy Tire today. These here for about $7 or something like that. Got there's 12. Yeah, 12. Anyway, so there's an 8-inch circle here, which, and the reason why we're using just an 8-inch circle as your standard target is that most of your 100-yard setting in targets, you want a nice big black target, especially if you're going to be shooting at the rifle with an open-sighted rifle such as this number 4 Mark 1, okay, which is what I'm going to be using, you guys out there. By the way, this rifle's name is Lhasa, named after a Klingon warrior with big boobs and really bad teeth. Anyway, I mean, some rifles got to have a name, and this rifle reminds me of her. So 8-inch target, because we know there's going to be people out there using open sights, and 8-inch circle is about right for what you can see reasonably out at that distance. There are 3 classifications of rifle that can compete in the match. Classification 1 is any semi-automatic vintage rifle. And these generally are, for example, your vintage rifles would be like your stock VZ58, your stock M1A rifle, AG42, VZ52, 57, could be like an SKS, and that's what this classification, it seems to have turned into the battle of the SKS. It's always the vintage that people bring the SKSs out with. In fact, we'll look at some scores from last year. The M1 Carbine, the M1 Garand would fall into this category. The SAFN, the AK-47 if you're in the United States. I mean, we're talking stock rifles as issued, all right, semi-automatic rifles. Class 2, which is modern, which basically is your unlimited classification. You can shoot any rifle and any semi-automatic rifle in this classification that can be tricked out to whatever level that you want it to be. AR-15, TAVOR, Swiss Arms, XCR, FAMAE 542, the T97, the SL8, tricked out AK-47s, the VZ58, SKS if you want to trick them out, put scopes on them and do fancy things to them. You can shoot all of those rifles in the unlimited or class 2, which is modern. Class 3 is essentially all manually operated rifles, and these are bolt guns, pump guns, or lever guns generally. And so I mean, this is where your hunting rifles can come in and shoot the competition. Most people are choosing to use ex-military service firearms such as the Lee Enfield that you see here, the 1903 Springfields, that type of thing. So when it comes to 3 classifications, all right. Now, so when it comes to your modifications, is that some rifles may have, but are not limited to, like red dot sights, optical sights, extended magazine releases, modified stocks, magwell modifications. There's kind of a gray area around what a tricked out rifle represents and what it isn't. For example, I mean, last year there was a guy who ran and this, I'll talk with this really interesting guy. His name's Austin. He ran an SKS, but he was running 185 grain cast load out of his SKS reloads. And he had to run the rifle, he had to remove the piston out of the rifle and run it as a manually operated rifle. So in that particular case, I actually allowed him into the bolt category because he had to rack it every single time he wanted to chamber a new round. So I mean, I'm kind of flexible with the way these rules are. Some of them are kind of gray. But whatever. And if there's any doubt, just send me a PM and we'll discuss what classification your rifle falls in. Okay. All shots in the competition are shot in the unsupported position. I don't want to see any the use of any bipods or any kind of arrest or bean bags or shooting off of a table. The target is the 8-inch circles we previously described, and the distance is 100 meters or 100 yards. 20 rounds, 5 standing, 5 kneeling, 5 prone, 5 sitting. So what we're going to do is go through, and I have a complimentary target, which I'll include in the description down below. You can download it. It's a PDF. There's some script on there. Ignore whatever the writing is that's on there. It doesn't apply to this competition, but it is. If you print that target off and without fitting to page on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, it'll come out to about 8 inches, an 8-inch circle. They're a complimentary target. We'll be maintaining all of the scores on the Facebook page. So if you want to be able to find out where your standing is so far, you'll be able to see, okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing is when these scores start coming in, and you have to upload you have to film yourself shooting this and upload it to YouTube or maybe Vimeo. You can post it on Facebook if you want. But I do want to be able to download it because I may be doing a fancy video for the results of the competition. The competition opens March the 1st, 2018, and it closes April the 1st, 2018. So you got a month. Now I'm last year I had it open for a long period of time. This year I'm gonna narrow it down to a period of 1 month for the competition to be open. And I'm going to do it a little bit later in the year because people just weren't able to get out, and some of the winter conditions you guys are shooting in are absolutely incredible. I mean, I was seeing people out shooting this in minus 40 degrees Celsius, where, exposed flesh will freeze in minutes. You guys were going out and shooting this, and really is a testament to the dedication and the toughness of Canadian marksmen out there, that they're able to go out and shoot in those conditions. These are not the best shooting conditions, right? That's kind of one of the purposes. One of the challenges, the cabin fever challenge, is that you're shooting in really difficult environmentals. Strong full factor winds, minus 20, minus 30 degrees wind, and you're shooting this up. The fact that you're hitting these targets at all, it's friggin' incredible. But anyway, aside from that, it's fantastic. So the competition opens on March 1st, closes on April 1st, but in between now and then, go out and film it. If you got some time, go out and do it, film it. However, I won't be looking at recording scores until March 1st. But feel free to go out there and shoot it. If you've got some time on a weekend to go out and shoot it, I don't want you to wait. If you have an opening of opportunity to go out and do it, and feel free to upload it and stuff like that. Put a note in the Facebook group where there's going to be a thread, and put your scores up. But I really won't be looking at that stuff till around March 1st. So let's go into some of last year's scores, and I'll first we'll go to vintage classification number 1. Now there were a total of there are some shooters that shot this that are missing, and that's my fault because I left this so friggin' late to compile the scores. Is that some of you have deleted your videos from YouTube, so I wasn't able to refer to them, and I apologize for that. I will not let that happen again. But being that as it may, we'll continue on. I've got scores for a total of 5 shooters. Starting at the bottom and working our way up. With a score of 21 is Chris MC Dad. With a score of 50 is Trigger Zen. By the way, Trigger Zen's got a great YouTube site. You should go check it out. Trigger Zen. With a score of 64.1 with a Chinese SKS is M3 TAC. These are all SKSs, by the way. In second place was Tudunam with a Soviet SKS with a score of 66.7. And at the very, very top, drum roll please, is 3M TAC with a Soviet SKS with a total score of 74.3. He put 11 shots on target within 74 seconds. And the way the scoring works is your total hits on target within your 8-inch circle at 100 meters. Sorry, I got the washing machine going right now, making background noise. Is your total number of hits within the 8-inch circle. If you cut the line, count it, right? But it's got to cut the line. Total number of hits inside your 8-inch target times 5. So let's say, for example, here we got 11 hits. You times that by 5 for a total score of 55 divided by your time in seconds times 100. That's the formula. It's all described in the Facebook group. So congratulations to 3MTA3. You know, it's kind of an interesting call sign. But, you know, the Soviet SKS, it can do it. I mean, Tudenom was right behind him. You know, he only got one less score on target, one strike on target, and he was 1 second higher, but his total overall score was around 8 points less. But essentially, the performance was exactly the same. Just a little bit more time and 1 score less on target. For Class 2 Unlimited, they were all AR-15s. Again, the high score goes to 3MTA3 with an AR-15 and 223 Remington for a total of 16 hits on target in 58 seconds. That's very fast and that's very good shooting. Well done. Whole 9 yards was right on his tail with a score of 78.1. And Christian from Germany and came in third with a total score of 40.7. However, still, the reigning champion for the highest score overall still belongs to Brian Bolivar with 19 out of 20 hits on target, and he did that in 67 seconds, and his video is still on YouTube if you want to check that out. Go check out Brian Bolivar's video. We shot that with a Colt Canada SA20 AR-15 for a total score of 142. So, you know, 3MTA3, you're right behind him with a score of 137.9. But you didn't quite get the highest overall score. And that was from 2016 was when Brian shot that. So well done to you. Again, 3MTA3 call sign. Now going to Class 3 manual. This is where your bolt actions, your lever actions, and your pump actions, or maybe if you want to shoot it with a brake action, go for it. Come in. We got a lot of shooters here. A total of 12 shooters. Now, some of these shooters shot 2 or 3 times, but that we're using different platforms. That's okay. You can shoot this as many times as you want. Scores ranged all the way from 29.3. I got the lowest score of all. I shot that with a CZ550 FS in 30-06, and it was very unpleasant to shoot. However, I mean, if somebody out there who is a real man wants to go out there and shoot this with a 460 Weatherby or a 375 H&H mag, please do so. You will get our respect if you were to do that. Anyway, so a total of 12 shooters last year, from 29 points all the way up to 58 points. So there's a large spread there. But the top 3 scores go to number 3 at Rifle Chair with a number 1 Mark III, shot that with a 50.5. The British muzzleloaders with a number 1 Mark III Lee Enfield again for the score of 56.6. And the top score using a Swiss K31 goes to the whole 9 yards with a top score of 58.5. Well done, you guys. Well done, you guys. Now, I've also got a couple of honorable mentions or special mentions here that I want to bring up, and it's something that I hold very close to my heart, which is dads bringing their kids out and running them through the paces in a safe environment. And I really got to hand it to Chris MC Dad, who brought his son Eamon out, and Eamon shot this course of fire with a Remington 597 and 22 long rifle. Now he's disqualified because these calibers need to be a centerfire cartridge. So I mean, but he still went out there and he's practicing. You know, maybe in future years as the course develops, Eamon will actually will shoot this for real and use. Well, he did shoot it for real. He just used a 22 long rifle. He did very well for himself. This is a young kid and he got 25 points. The second honorable mention goes to Brian at Drum Custom Knives, who shot this with a Savage 99F and 308 Winchester. He got a total score of 37.7. He did exceedingly well. He got 12 strikes on target, and he did it in a decent time. Now, these are your Saskatchewan Flatlanders. I think it's Saskatchewan, or maybe Manitoba, but Flatlanders, and you just know these guys are just hardcore deer hunters. And he's out there with a hunting rifle with a 2-7 by 33, I think, Leupold on it, and he did very, very well for himself, and I'm real proud of you, Brian. Well done. Another honorable mention is British muzzleloaders who did the entire match in period correct battle dress uniform. I just love that. I think it's so awesome. Plus, he did it in a snowbank wearing a kilt. Now, the sitting position, he probably got some snow. Anyway, you get the idea. He shot it anyway, and I just love that. Well done, Rob. Well done. And last but not least, honorable mention from last year is Austin Doyle, who shot this with an SKS. He was using 185 grain cast loads, and for whatever reason, there was insufficient pressure to automatically operate the bolt. So he removed the piston and he ran it as a manual operated rifle. Now, he got disqualified. Yeah, you're sorry, Austin, but you're DQ'd. But because you didn't use the 8-inch round target, right? You got a decent group, but you were DQ'd. But I just wanted to give you an honorable mention because I've never seen anybody run an SKS like that. So it's the first time for me to see that, and good for you. Well done. So again, the competition opens March 1st. Get out there, have some fun, and we'll talk to you guys later. I'll try to roll in some footage for some of our shooters out there. Thanks for entering the competition, and I look forward to seeing your scores. When I get the Facebook group up and running and I got that thread pinned to the top, I'll put the link down below in the video description. Let's see some more shooters this year. I'll see on top of scores. I've got a spreadsheet already built for populating with all the formulas to figure out your scores. One thing you can do to make it easier for me is to actually calculate your scores, and if you don't put it in the video itself, put it in the description down below. It's the honor system. You know, I'm not going to sit there and try to figure out your time and your scores for every single one of your the competitors out there. So please do that yourselves. I won't be checking your math. Please be honest. I mean, if the numbers seem outrageously high, I'll probably check them. But if you could help me do that with the math part, it is a lot of work to do this for all of these different competitors. If you can do the math yourselves, that'd be great. Thanks for helping me out there. Cheers, folks, and as always, Maple Leaf up.
They objected to giving up their weapons.
Klingons do not surrender their weapons.
Who are you?
We are Lursa and Bator of the House of Duras.